This happened a long time ago. I think I was in class 5 when it occurred. It's a spooky incident, and it happened at night. If this story scares you, I'm not responsible. Read at your own risk. We had 2 ponds near our house, which we used to lease at that time. A lot of fish were farmed there, and fingerlings were released regularly. There had been light rain that day. Because our ponds were beside agricultural land, there was a system to bring native fish into the ponds naturally. In rural areas, the soil near ponds is often cut to create a channel. When the pond fills up, the extra water flows out into the fields. And as the water flows, small native fish hiding in the fields often swim into the pond. That's how traditional farmers collect local fish. Our ponds worked the same way. Excess water flowed out, and any fish from the field came in. To the south of our pond was farmland. Between the pond and the field was a 10 to 12-foot strip of land. Even during the day, that place looked a little dark and eerie. There was a bamboo grove at the edge of the land, and on its eastern side was a graveyard. Right in between stood a huge tamarind tree. Because of all that, the whole area looked naturally frightening, and at night, even more so. The southern wind felt strangely heavy there. Between the pond and the field, a long channel had been dug for water to flow out and fish to come in. But the part near the pond could be closed whenever needed. Anyway, that evening, my father and one of my uncles opened the waterway so the rainwater could drain. Around 11 p.m., my father went alone to close it again. I asked to go with him that night. Sometimes he would catch a few fish with his net in the evening, so I thought it would be fun to see how he caught them. So I went along. At the pond steps, I saw some tiny shrimp sitting on the edge. I carefully caught a few with my hand. My father told me to release them, so I did. Once we reached the waterway, I held the flashlight while my father worked. Just then I saw a fish slow making its way from the field toward the pond. I told my father I wanted to catch it. He said, "Go ahead." When it reached near the pond and got stuck in the net, I picked it up. I held it in my hand for about 2 minutes. I was a bit far from the water so it wouldn't fall back in. My father was holding the flashlight. Suddenly the fish slipped from my hand and fell to the ground. It didn't fall into the water. It fell right where the light was shining. But after that, it was gone. I froze for a moment. I started looking everywhere left, right near the mud, near the water. But my father understood immediately, because suddenly the wind picked up very strong all around us. Yet only the bamboo grove was shaking. Nothing else. My father grabbed my hand and started walking fast. He didn't say a single word. All the way back, I kept asking, "Why are we leaving? We didn't find the fish." But he said nothing. Only when we reached the front yard, he said softly, "The fish went back into the water." Since that day, I've always had a feeling something was off. Why did my father act like that? I was scared too, thinking of that moment. Sometimes I felt maybe it wasn't a fish at all. My father had experienced similar things before, but he never told me then. Even back in the house, when I asked again, he said, "It went into the water. That's why you couldn't see it." But honestly, I had searched a lot. It didn't make sense. That night, I didn't sleep in my room. Usually my brother and I slept separately, but that night my father told us to sleep with my parents because he was scared too. A few days later, my younger aunt came to visit. She started telling stories of similar strange incidents. Only then did I understand. Whatever I held in my hand that night, it wasn't an ordinary fish. Just thinking about it still gives me chills. My father later admitted that it wasn't a fish, and that's why we didn't see anything after it fell. I don't know how true any of it was, but I still remember that night clearly. After that, I never went near that side of the pond at night again. I've heard these kinds of things happen often in rural areas, especially involving fish-like shapes. This is a completely true story. Something that happened to me. Similar things happened to my father too. I heard those from him. I'll share more in the next part. If you read it, let me know how it felt. And if anything like this has ever happened to you, I'd love to hear it.